question is the gearbox all right or not? That is my biggest worry. We'll find out very, very soon. So here is the car, and this is my first time seeing it, so we're going to walk around the damage. You're going to find out the damage at the same time as me. Obviously, most of the damage is here where the wheel's been ripped out, and something I think fell maybe on the bonnet and the wing. I'm not too sure, because that's sort of a weird damage. The headlight is cracked as well, and there's a lot of branches inside of there, which is quite interesting. I've never seen so much debris inside of a headlight. It is a Premium Plus, this car as well, so it's got all the spec. You can see on the front here, it's actually got a camera. Well, this is a radar sensor, and then it's also got a camera here. And I've done a lot of GLAs now. I've probably had like 5 or 6 GLAs, and I've never had one that has these cameras on the front. But as I said, this is a Premium Plus, and a Premium Plus is basically the top spec. You can see it's also got a sunroof. On the interior, we've not had any airbags deploy, so that is obviously a bonus. I don't have to change any airbags, and it is an automatic, as you can see there, so that is another little bonus. Obviously, automatic cars are just worth quite a bit more money, and I did get this for a really cheap price, but obviously that's just because it is so heavily damaged. One thing I have noticed that I'm a little bit disappointed about as well is it's quite pushed back down here. All the radiators are pushed back. The bonnet's actually jammed as well, so I can't open the bonnet. So the first thing that I want to do is get this bonnet open. So we're going to have to cut the latch probably to get in there. And we're probably going to need a suspension corner and a new wheel, and also a rad pack. And it looks like a crash bar as well. The crash bar is quite damaged. I'm not going to know until I take the bumper off, but overall, it is exactly what I expected. I've not tried to start it yet, but in the listing it did say that it was a run and drive as well. Let's see if there's anything in the boot. Oh, the rest of the wheel. Nice. Oh, this grille as well. These grills are really expensive, but obviously it's damaged, so that's a shame. It's always interesting seeing what is inside of cars when you get them from Copart. It's so interesting how this wheel has broke. Like, how is it shattered off of every single spoke? That's crazy. You would think that like the suspension would rip out before the wheel would do this. Surf Patrol. What we got under here? Hosiery Specialists. What's all this? We got some tire fix. Oh yeah, definitely needed that. So I think first things first, let's send the car up on the lift, and I want to check out what it looks like underneath, because the gearbox sits right here on these cars. You can see how low that is to the floor. So I just want to check that the gearbox is all right. So let's get it up in the air. Oh no way, I can see on the back of the headlight it's cracked. Look at that. Oh. I thought the headlight might have just needed a lens, but it is definitely destroyed. So now it's up in the air. Let's have a look. What have we got under here? I'm going to get this under tray off first thing. It looks all right. Wow, look how much that crash bar is pushed in though. It's crazy how hidden the damage is on the photos sometimes, because obviously you just see that the bottom of the bumper is ripped off, but behind the bumper, look at that. Like, that's crazy. That's been hit with some force. I think this is actually pretty cool. Like, that little bit left of the wheel, when I unbolt it, that could go on the wall as like a clock or something. How many spokes is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 12-hour clock, 3, 6, 9, no. Oh, it wouldn't work. Oh well. This is definitely gonna be the lightest wheel I've ever removed. That's for sure. Yeah, look at that. That's so light. Easiest wheel I have ever removed. Let's see, does it fit back into the wheel like a jigsaw though? No. That's pretty cool. I think I'm gonna put that on my wall. It's gonna go up here. little ornament.
Now, before we get into fixing the car, the last thing you ever want to do is buy a car like this GLA without knowing its previous history. With Car Vertical, we can see all of the car's previous history, checked through over 30 different countries, whether it's been previously damaged and through a salvage auction, and any mileage tampering. It will also show you the auction listing photos like we can see on this Mercedes C-Class here. It also shows the photos of when it's been listed for sale after it's been repaired, and it will also tell you whether the car's ever been previously stolen or if it even currently is still stolen. You can see that this Mercedes was stolen in the past, but it's no longer flagged as stolen. It also includes many other checks which you can see on the screen here. So no matter whether it's your own car, it's your friend's car, or even just a car that you're planning on buying, make sure to check the history first using Car Vertical and use my code JoeJames. I've linked it in the description. Now let's get back to fixing the GLA.
I'm going to drop the car down and we're going to try to get this bonnet open. So I've just pulled the latch, but I don't know if it's just done anything at all. What happens if I try to open it? Oh yeah. There we go. Right, the first thing I'm actually going to do is get this trim out of the way, because if I open the bonnet, this is going to break straight away. Okay, I'll just leave that there for now. Oh no, look at that. Oh yeah, this is not a Cat S at all. I can tell you that for free, that this is not a Cat S. There is no structural damage there. I'm confident already. Look at it. I do not think that has moved one bit. Look at it. It's fine, that. Yeah, I don't think that this part of the structure is damaged at all. We'll know better once I get the wing removed, but it looks all right to me. I think what's probably happened is they've crashed and then the wheels broke off, and whatever they've crashed into has probably fell onto the car maybe, because I can't think of what else would have caused that damage. But we're going to get the wing off now, I'm going to get the bumper off, the headlight off, and then we're just going to assess the rest of the damage. Okay, I removed them 2 bolts at the bottom, so this wing should actually, no, it's going to be connected here. Yes, just a little 10mm. Oh my god, this car is a mess. So there is still a bit of the wing up here. So if you actually look closely, this looks damaged right here, but that's just the remnants of the wing. So once I unbolt this, I think it's going to be completely fine underneath. Yep, that's because that's a very strong structural piece. It's the strut tower and everything. If we look here, there doesn't seem to be any damage on that. Not that I can see. There's no damage there whatsoever. The only thing that is damaged slightly is the earth pin. You can see it's just sort of bent. That will have been from where the bonnet's pushed down on it, because obviously that's where the bonnet was damaged. But if we actually look at this side on, I can't see any damage there. I have spotted a bit of damage on the suspension though. If we look at this shock absorber, you can see the shock absorber comes straight down, but it has this collar around it, and you can see it's not straight at the bottom there. I actually do think that the bottom arm and the hub will be all right. This shock absorber is electronic as well. I think I'm just going to replace the shock for now and see how it is. The tie rod snapped as well, but I'm not worried about that. Just a new in and out of tie rod. But yeah, new shocker, new in and out of tie rod, new wing. Let's get the headlight and the bumper off next. On this side of the suspension, I think everything's all right. I can't see any damage in there, but I'm going to remove the arch liner now, so that gives me access to remove the bumper. Now we just have some T25 screws across the top. I was worried about those ripped plugs because on the other GLAs I've fixed, there's been a radar sensor, and I know that if that's ripped out, it's really difficult to get them programmed and coded and stuff. But on this car, the radar sensor just looks a bit different, and this is it here. And I'm guessing that's the bracket that it sits on. It must sit behind the badge. So yeah, that's not too bad. Oh yeah, you can see it bolts up there, and that's where it's broke off from. Bumper stripped off. I'm going to take the headlight off now. I'm probably going to get the full front panel removed as well. If we just look on the back of the headlight, all the casing's cracked there, so that's a shame. Can't just replace the lens. This headlight is completely toast, but it does have all the modules obviously, so I'll be able to use the modules again, so at least it has those.
Now I'm removing the driver side headlight and disconnecting all of the electrical connectors on the front. Now the main 3 bolts that hold your front panel on is these 3 bolts here, so they're the last 3 that I've got to remove on both sides, and then I should be able to pull the whole front panel forward.
I need to remove the bonnet first because obviously the bonnet catch sits on the front panel. Right, there we go. I don't have a hammer. How do I not have a hammer?
With the front panel out of the way, I need to remove the damaged rad pack, so I'm disconnecting the intercooler hoses and also the aircon condenser lines and the coolant hoses. Finally just got that rad pack removed, and this complete rad pack is just destroyed. The radiator housings broke, and all of the radiators are destroyed because of how much it's been pushed in there. All of them radiators are actually quite cheap. The rad pack as a whole will probably be quite expensive, but I've done it before where I've just bought the 2 radiators and the fan and also the intercooler which runs across the bottom, and it ends up working out cheaper than what it would cost to buy a complete rad pack. So I'll price everything up and then we'll see. Now that everything's removed, we can get a proper look at the damage, and you can see that that reinforcement bar which runs across the bottom is definitely bent, but they are replaceable, so that's not that big of a deal.
Right, we're inside the car now and I've plugged my diagnostic machine in and we're just going to go through the codes. It's actually really nice inside of this one. I've never had a Premium Plus before. Obviously it's got the sunroof and the seats as well are electric on the door. I've had a Premium Plus. It's also got ambient lighting in here as well, like nice little lights in the doors and stuff. I've had a Premium Plus CLA before, but I've never had a Premium Plus GLA. GLA is just a bit nicer, isn't it, than a CLA. The booklet is actually in the car, which you rarely get for a co-part. We've got some MOT history in here. Nice, nice. What else have we got? Lex Automotive, Auto Lease. Oh, must be the finance company or something. There's not really any major error codes on there that I'm worried about, to be honest. It's scanned all right.
So now that I've got all the damage stripped off the car, it was time to buy all the parts, and I was looking online trying to price everything up individually. I was trying to get parts in colour as well, but then I stumbled across a full front end in colour, which is so unbelievably lucky because obviously it's the same colour, so the car's not going to need much paint. It is still going to need a little bit of paint because I'll show you on the passenger door where the door's been opened from the wing. This door's a bit damaged, you can see. So that's going to need to be repaired. So we're only going to need to paint the door, but obviously it saves a lot of money on paint, and it was pretty cheap for the front end as well. So yeah, now I'm not going to waste any time. We're just going to get all of this thrown on the car, and then I'm just waiting on the tie rod. We're going to change that as well, and a wheel, and then it should be driving. It just needs the door repaired, and that's probably going to be it, pretty much done.
Something good. I think we're onto something good. Don't let it get away. This could be everything.
So I've fitted in the rad pack and I've connected all that up, and I've put this front panel on, and I've also bolted it all in. And you can see I've just left the 3 bolts loose, and I've left this one loose as well. But you can see it lines up perfectly fine, so this definitely hasn't moved. I know for a fact it hasn't because it's straight. I bent this earth pole back straight as well, because if you remember that was a little bit bent. So I'm going to leave the front panel, all the bolts loose. The reason why I'm going to do that is because when I put the headlights in and I put the bumper on and the bonnet on, it's going to let us see if it needs to move up or down, because sometimes you'll bolt the front panel on, it might be sat low or it might be sat too high. So where your bonnet meets your bumper, it isn't right. So I'm just going to leave it loose, panel everything up, and then take it apart, tighten it after.
And then the wing, I'm going to replace this wing because it's got a little bit of scratch on the paint there. And obviously I've got a perfect wing over there, so I'm just going to swap those out. And then finally, I need to replace the track rod, inner and outer. I'm going to do that now, whilst the wing is off, just because it gives me a little bit more room.
Fitting the wing on the driver's side was pretty easy, but when I was fitting the wing on the passenger side, because it was so heavily damaged here, I had to bend some of the brackets, which you can see me doing here. I swapped over all of the modules from my damaged headlight to my new headlight. This way I don't need to do any coding. With the headlight plugged in, I'm just double checking that it actually works. So you can see the indicators are working and also the high beams are all working. So with the headlights fully installed, the car's looking a million times better. That's like 80% of the front panel installed. We've changed both headlights, both wings, the rad pack and the slam panel. You can see the wing lines up really nicely to the doors as well. Now we're just installing the bonnet. And then what we did was we test fit the front bumper and seen how much the front panel had to move up or down to where it was lining up perfectly with the bonnet. If you remember, I left all of this loose, so he's just holding it in place whilst I tighten up all the bolts. Now that everything's tightened up, that just leaves the front bumper to go on. And now when I put this front bumper on the car, everything's going to line up so much easier. Now the car isn't fully done, but I just wanted to get this video out. It still needs a little bit of bodywork doing, and I'm waiting on some of the suspension components for this passenger side, but it's pretty much done. And all these panel gaps are lined up without even tightening everything up. That was just how they went on. I've made a load of progress on the M4, and I'm finally going to have a video coming out on Thursday the 9th, so in 3 days from when this video is uploaded. So I'll see you in that video.